It's Wednesday, yes, Stephen, it's Wednesday.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Movie News here at MB on this Wednesday night. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel and of course our Twitch stream. John, you're making me dance there. I saw it at the corner of my eye. Anyway, we'd just like to thank you once again for joining us. And I am one of your co-hosts, Stephen John McLaughlin, and the other co-host who's here 7 days a week, 8 days a week sometimes, as Ringo would say. It's John C. Walsh.
8 days a week, I love
Woo.
you.
Yep. Anyway, let's move on.
As you can tell, a little impromptu singing session.
Yeah, why not? Get out of your system, John. But we're
going
to
wear a hoodie, Stephen, because the vaccine has made me an incredibly sweaty person.
You did say that, John.
And I'm wearing a hoodie.
You've had this knock-on effect.
To exacerbate it, it's like the Auf Wiedersehen stuff with Wayne, and Timothy Spall's character, whose name I'm blanking on. Barry. Yeah. If you've got terrible acne, grow a beard out,
it's
and
funny,
then no one will see it. But
last time I was on, we were talking about Ovides Pet as well. If anyone has not seen Ovides Pet, you need to check it out.
Really
It's been out for the last 40 years almost. It's a great television series, legendary. 4 seasons of it and a TV special as well. Check it out. But anyway, another thing you should check out is the Don't Breathe 2 Red Band trailer.
Yes.
And this teases Blind Man's brutal methods. Sony Pictures unveils a new Red Band trailer for Don't Breathe 2, teasing the brutal methods utilised by Stephen Lang's Blind Man in the horror sequel. John, we've already pre-recorded our reaction to this, so we won't give too much away in
Other
terms.
Than to say, Stephen, it's a little bit more disappointing than
I
the
found it
last month's one.
I found it lacklustre, John. For a Red Band trailer, I felt it didn't have the suspense. They took the suspense away for the bloody violence. I suppose that's its purpose, but it just didn't have the same impact. You actually told me about the first trailer, which I missed.
Yes,
I watched it shortly just before we came on, and I was more impressed with that. There was more
tension,
more
violence, more action. From
ironically, there was more violence.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even a Red Band trailer.
People.
But John, you've seen the first movie. You liked it. Stephen Lang's Blind Man in this one looks just as
brutal, sensitive, hypersensitive.
Yeah.
Are you actually reading off this article, Steve?
I'm going to, John. Yeah,
but I'll just make sure in case.
I just want to get your thoughts on.
I'll just leave you there.
Well,
I'll come back. Yeah.
I just want to get your thoughts on obviously the first film, and what's your expectations for the second movie?
Stephen, as you know, I do love horror. I've always been a fan of horror, so I'll go to me briefly, give you a little break. Always been a fan of horror and searching out for zany little ideas in horror movies. That's how I got to know of Mike Flanagan with Hush, and this idea of taking a deaf lady, putting her in a nice little zany glass facade house in the middle of the woods, and putting a psychopathic killer in there. And I think it's David Gallagher. Is it David John Gallagher?
Always do that.
Yep,
his
always
name.
do that.
Yep.
But that was a different idea. That got me into Mike Flanagan. I went and watched Green Room. I don't know who directed that. That was another little lovely slashery siege kind of horror movie. And with this one, it took that concept to Hush and flipped it. Instead of it being a hearing issue, his hearing was fucking unreal, off the charts. It's almost like the creatures from A Quiet Place, but he was blind.
John,
and you've got these characters coming into his house, Steve, and trying to rob him.
It's just like what Bird Box did with A Quiet Place. They took the other senses. Yeah. Exactly the same thing.
It's exactly the same thing, Stephen, but it's a nice little thing, a nice little niche, or niche as some people would call it from across the pond. And you use that and you create a whole movie out of it, and it seems to work nicely. And Stephen, he was morally ambiguous, this character, because there was people breaking into his house and he had all of the rights in the world to shoot the fuck out of them, stab them, do whatever he had to do to get them off his property. This man has got a disability. But then, of course, if you've not seen the movie, move away because I'm about to spoil the ending. You've had your chance to get a fuck if you've watched this. You get to the guy's basement and he's sort of trying to impregnate the woman who killed his daughter, I think in a traffic accident or something. So he's morally ambiguous. You feel for the guy. He's under attack in his own house, but then he's imprisoning another person trying to impregnate them.
There's a handful of films that really do.
But they're shaking it up, Stephen, for this movie.
Yeah, they do that though with the character, and it's a very strange way. You're trying to relate to the character, and I'm not going to say sympathise because what he's doing is horrific and wrong, but there's justification obviously in his execution. John, I
thought you were about to mention the
Woodsman.
Oh, Mads Mikkelsen.
Well, the Woodsman. Well, Mads Mikkelsen won the Hunt. He was actually wrongly accused of what he was accused of. If anyone's not seen it, I don't want to really give the game away. It's an old film, but he was accused of fiddling. But the Woodsman, in another case, he was a convicted.
Stephen, look at that.
Yeah, you know, and I was so uncomfortable with that film. I didn't know how to feel about the character, other than I was disgusted with him and didn't like him.
Illness. These people are chemically imbalanced. They've got a mental illness. So you should have a degree of sympathy, but also the desire to actually stab fuck out of them as well. You're on that moral sort of precipice.
It's such a confusing film, and
only the
I don't think this one is to the same extremes, to be fair, but there is a justification, obviously, his actions that we do see.
Stephen, you feel sorry for him as well, because he's lost his daughter in horrific circumstances. He's trying to right the wrong by doing something which is abhorrent. But then at the same time, you've got this young woman trying to get out of his house, and you're backing her, but you're also feeling for this guy. He's getting attacked. So it's got layers to it, not levels and layers. I was trying to say at the same time there. It's got layers to it. This one, they're changing it. He's leaving the actual house. His house is getting burnt to a crisp. He seems to have acquired a daughter who isn't his daughter. These guys come and kidnap the daughter, and he's going off to actually get the daughter back. So opening it up, doing almost like what they did with Conjuring 3, changing the actual foundation of the movie, stepping away from the claustrophobic house out into the open, and he's now the pursuer instead of the pursued. He was the pursuer in the house, but people were actually trying to fucking rob him. Yeah. So he's actually the guy aggrieved. He's actually trying to go and... Well, we'll find out if he's aggrieved. We'll find out how you get his daughter. There's layers to it, Stephen. I'm looking forward to it.
John, it does say in this article from Screen Rant, though the video may not feature as much blood as to be expected from a Red Band trailer, it does offer more intriguing glimpse into some of the methods Lang's blind man is utilising in the sequel. Yeah. One of the most haunting scene is easily the one villain having his mouth and nose seemingly superglued shut, making it impossible to breathe. Given the sheer strength of the character, it's no surprise he is able to overpower
How
the
do you
foe
superglue somebody's mouth together?
that quick as well. But the twisted nature of one who thinks to execute such a tactic certainly adds to the terror audience can expect from the film. John,
well, Stephen, you say that quick, but I haven't seen this guy. I know his methods.
He will probably knock him out as well. Yeah,
he'll knock him out and then do it, and you'll wake up to that lovely little surprise.
A bit like ever wakes up. Ma, you know the film
Stephen,
Ma.
And then Hocus Pocus. When I grew up, I used to watch Hocus Pocus, and there's a character in that who I think it was like a mummified corpse or something. He has his mouth stitched together, and they cut the actual stitches, and something comes out his mouth or something. Yeah. I remember it.
It's not like Thomas Anderson in The Matrix, isn't it? Bette Midler, yeah.
Yeah, Bette Midler. I remember that sort of sewn together mouth thing. So it was like that. And as you said,
I love that scene in The Matrix.
Oh yeah, the one who's no mouth. Yeah, basically saying to him, "Look, bitch, this isn't fucking real. You can do what you want. Shake out of it, man. You're the fucking chosen one. Start flying. Start taking these agents on." Stop being a lazy
John,
bitch.
I've got to admit, when I did watch this trailer and I did see the superglued nose and mouth shut, the first thing I thought was, you need to get a Stanley quickly, and you need to open your mouth somehow.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be
going to be like Heath Ledger's Joker after it, because there's simply nothing you can do.
I would rather be like that, John, than dead.
Exactly, Stephen. And then Michael Jackson's nose with Heath Ledger's mouth. Yeah. It's not a good combination, is it?
I would worry about the nose later, as long as I could get some air in through
Stephen,
the mouth.
I mean, we've seen people out there, real life stories, tragically, who have horrifically been disfigured, and they've found a way.
John, I do this in films. I overthink things. Stephen, I think man, they should have done this.
There was a fucking guy from America, I think he's in his 20s, maybe 22, 23, was involved in some accident. He lost his face. I think he was burnt, and they transplanted his face with a guy in his 50s, and it fucking haunted me, Stephen. It was like Michael Myers. Yeah, but this guy's walking about, he's quite happy. I think he get arms or hands off the guy as well. He transplanted hands and his face.
Wow, that's I do not want to Google that.
Michael, it's a Mike Flanagan movie. That's his next movie. Fucking terrifying, Stephen. But what I felt for the guy, because he's obviously fucking disabled and disfigured, and he's been gave a new lease of life. But he was a lean guy who'd done weight training, and this guy who was clearly not a lean guy that he'd got the face off of. So there was like sagging, and it was fucking weird, Steve. It was weird. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, the guy's happy. That's the most important thing. But it's something I don't really want to see.
He's aged about 30 years overnight.
Yeah. Literally,
It's terrible, isn't it? Is that not terrible?
John, I don't know where to go with this.
Is that not terrible, man? I'm just saying, it's like fucking Face Off. Yeah. It's like Face Off in real life.
This, or we should have saw in this.
But what Face Off would have been like, Stephen? Because you don't get Nick Cage's jawline getting on John Travolta's jawline. It doesn't happen. That would be what it would be like. John Travolta would get the better side of the stick. He'd have a nice taut Joe, when Nick Cage tried to get John Travolta's face with that fucking excess skin, it'd have been fabbing all over the place. You need to think about these things. You try to tell
me they didn't really do a face transplant
You need to think about these things, Stephen.
They didn't really do a transplant in that film. Wow.
Oh, Stephen, I fucking love that
I thought Nick Cage did a great John Travolta as well, and it was just John Travolta doing himself. Damn.
Stephen, anyway, you've got to admit,
killed the illusion.
That's a guilty pleasure, that movie.
John, that's a great film. There was a series of films John Travolta was in at that point.
Yeah.
They were really good.
Yeah.
The other one was Phenomenon. I don't know if you remember that one. It wasn't as good as obviously Pulp
Stephen,
Fiction.
you always remember the line
film
that John Travolta said. He basically walked onto the set. He'd agreed with Nick Cage if we're going to play it kind of low key or something like that. And he came onto the set and he looked to Nick for the sort of setting of the tone for this movie, and he came in as he was shooting the priest sequence.
I love that.
And he's like, right, that's the way you're playing it then. It's going to be one interesting fucking shoot, this. Stephen, can you imagine walking onto the set, man? That's the guy you've got to play. You've got to play that character.
He did it well.
He fucking dancing in front of the sort of, was it like nuns or something like that, or a choir? I can't recall, it's been a while.
Yeah, but imagine cigarette in his mouth, I'm sure.
Man, brilliant.
It was hilarious.
Fucking brilliant, man. I love Nick Cage.
Yeah, Castor Troy. I always remember the name.
Yeah.
Anyway, John, have you got anything else to say?
Only that I'm looking forward to it, Stephen, and if we actually speak about the trailer itself, which we haven't done really.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
It was a Red Band trailer. There was a couple of violent moments, choking someone out, hitting them with an axe.
Yeah, the thumbs in the eyes as well.
The thumbs in the eyes, that was like Pedro Pascal in Game of Thrones. The Red Baron. No, Red Baron. Red Baron? I don't know. Red Viper. Getting crushed to fuck with the mountain. And that infamous scene. You've not seen it, Stephen? Because I know you weren't a big fan of the whole Game of Thrones thing. No. You kind of... And look, you were right in the end because it ended terribly. There was sporadic moments of violence in there. For a Red Band trailer, it was a little underwhelming.
I thought it was.
And as we did say at the start, before we actually get into the topic, the trailer from a month ago, just the official trailer, I actually thought it was better. It framed the actual story better. This little girl being taken away, him doing everything to get her back, lying on the ground in that sequence in the water and getting up and shooting for him, dead.
That was amazing, yeah.
It showed more of the story, and as you said perfectly, Stephen, before we even came on, you were mucking around, but you were bang on. You've gave everything in this Red Band trailer to show some violence, but you've lost everything else whilst doing so, and there's no coherent trailer, there's no coherent story. So for me, it wasn't a great trailer, and if I hadn't seen the original, it would have done nothing for the movie. So I urge people, if they've watched that, maybe feeling disappointed, go and watch the trailer from a month ago.
But better still, watch our reaction later on.
Yes, exactly. And we'll get into it.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to move on to our next topic.
If I can
John.
be asked getting it out, because I'm a lazy bitch these days. I should get it out.
Hopefully, John, I don't blame you. Listen, let's stay on our soapboxes just now.
3 times.
The way YouTube are treating this channel right now is unbelievable, and I don't know if it's to do with us being in the UK or not.
I think it is.
John, we did the reaction. I can't even remember what the song was called, but
it was from Vagamai.
Yeah, we did the reaction, and you, for 2 days solid, were trying to put it out in different variations. We ended up...
Put it out unblocked, because we'd paused it every 30 seconds, as you're supposed to do. Put a copyright claim, or a copyright notice in the actual description, which we do with every video. We don't monetize these videos.
No.
They blocked it.
Yep.
The second time, I put a graphic over the area they were highlighting, because that's the area that was offending. Blocked it again. So I've had to put a graphic over the entire thing, put a disclaimer in, and there's still pauses in it, but it get it out. So it finally get out. So Sony Music South, get your fucking shit together.
John, it's alright getting it out. I'm quite happy for it to go out, and I know you are as well, but it loses its impact when you have to do that, you know.
Yeah, and there's pausing.
And the worst part about it is, and I'm not having a go at any other YouTube channels here, but they're getting away with it. Yeah. They don't even pause it. They're watching the whole thing in its entirety.
Steve, I think those channels though that I watched,
they're based in Australia and New Zealand.
I thought they were based in India solely. I thought it was the early ones.
Fair dues. I get that, you know. But there's ones in Australia doing it, in New Zealand and other places like that. They're getting away with it. It's got to be the UK
thing. Yeah.
It's got to be the UK.
You get a cent to answer for
Brexit.
Blonde.
I blame Brexit for all this.
Blonde.
But John, anyway, back off our soapboxes. We're going to be talking about something that's not so great, but it could be for Ethan Coen. He is done making movies, says Coen Brothers Collaborator. It's his brother, by the way. You might have guessed that by the Coen Brothers Collaborator. But the tragedy...
It's another brothers directing outfit.
Yeah, the tragedy of Macbeth. I just got what you're talking about there, John. Mr. Anderson. The tragedy of Macbeth marks Joe Coen's first film as a director without his brother Ethan, and reportedly Ethan is done with directing films. I'm going to read a little bit about this before I let you in, John, because I know that you want to talk about their great career. According to Los Angeles Magazine, via an episode of the Score podcast, long-time musical collaborator for the Coens, Carter Burwell, alright, so he's a collaborator, sorry, I jumped the gun, spoke about how it appears Ethan is done with making movies. He said that the split between the two directors was amicable, and he's currently unaware if Ethan is going to retire or what Joe Coen will do after the tragedy of Macbeth. He does say, however, that Coen brothers do have a lot of scripts that he hopes to see the brothers make together, and this is what he said: Ethan just didn't want to make movies anymore. Ethan seems very happy doing what he's doing, and I'm not sure what Joe will do after this. They also have a ton of scripts they've written together that are sitting on various shelves. Get them out. I hope maybe they get back to those. I've read some of those and they are great. We are all at an age where we just don't know. We could all retire. It's a wonderfully unpredictable business. Yeah, it's a little different to have one of the brothers there, and I know Ethan, I saw him towards the end of last year. Joe was out prepping the shoot in LA. He said it felt strange that Joe is out there getting ready to make a movie, but Ethan didn't want to do it. He wants to do other things. John,
it's absolutely fair enough.
Yeah, he might just want to stick to writing, because both of them are wonderful writers, but John, there's tons of work there lying on a shelf. I hope they see the light of day.
Stephen Joe can continue doing it, and he's got his long-time collaborator there, as you do say. You mentioned his name there. They've worked together in all the movies, both the brothers and him.
Yeah.
So just because Ethan's had to step away, I'm sure Joe's got something about him. I'm sure if the Russos split up, there'd be something about the individual Russo brothers, and they could go out and make movies on their own and do very well from it. It's a shame that he's having to step away, because he is one of the iconic sort of filmmakers of my lifetime. You speak about filmmakers before my lifetime, there's plenty there, Kubrick's and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was alive during my lifetime, because of course his last movie was Eyes Wide Shut, and that was the early 2000s. And there's other ones you can go back, man, Hitchcock's and stuff like that. They were incredible directors. I'm sure there's others. Sergio Leone who did the... Was it Sergio Leone? Was that his name? It did the...
Spaghetti Westerns.
Yeah. Guys like that, way before my lifetime. But of me growing up, these guys were in their absolute pomp when I was a kid, growing up in the 90s. So to lose one of them, it would be unbelievable in terms of where we're going. We could potentially lose Tarantino in the next couple of years. And that's two of the legendary figures of the 90s, 80s, whatever.
I'm glad we're getting to see the new directors coming through though, John. Yeah,
you've got some great directors. Steve, you get guys like Taika Waititi in their 40s, man. Get years and years left, 15, 20 years minimum directing. Nolan's still doing his thing. Jordan Peele's coming through. You've got guys like Stephen Caple Jr. Michael B. Jordan stepping into directing seats, and that's just black directors, man, that are coming up who are going to give us some interesting stories from that side of things, stuff that we can't really experience because we're not black and we've not lived it. And then you think of other directors. Damien Chazelle's still very young. There's other ones out there. They're coming up. Patty Jenkins. Chloe Zhao. That other sort of Asian American director that worked with A24. I think it was The Favourite. It wasn't The Favourite. I always fuck this up. I do not know why I can never remember this name. This movie. I'm going to watch it. Apparently it's incredible. Point is, there's lots of good directors coming up. So
Bong
Joon-ho is still out doing his thing. But it'll be an absolute shame to miss a guy this standing, Stephen, because look, I have brought up the filmography. I'm going to try and find it and bring us both onto the screen whilst we divulge through said filmography. It's a very impressive one, going way all the way back to 1970. A shot, is that Spider, Stephen?
No, I'm looking at the list.
Oh, you're looking at the list, yeah. Oh, right, yeah. Oh, right, Stephen, I like what you're doing there. See, I've not got the self-awareness to do things like that, to actually look up like that. Look at that list and get down like that. That's brilliant. But you see, it's really just the 90s when they... Oh, also 87. Raising Arizona, working with Nick Cage. When he had a full head of hair. And what a head of hair it was. Stephen, a fantastic movie, a zany comedy, sort of crime movie.
I think that was the first Nick Cage film I saw.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. But certainly the first one in his filmography that I went back and watched that I saw. Miller's Crossing, I don't know. There's a couple I'm going to admit I've not seen. I've not seen every movie in the history of mankind.
There's ones that I know the name of, like Barton Fink. I know the name, but I've not seen it, John.
And then obviously Fargo, that was Frances McDormand. She won an Oscar for that.
Yeah.
a great movie, The Big Lebowski.
John, you look at those 3 next films.
Unbelievable, Stephen.
Just, you know,
to knock out 3 movies like that in pretty much what a
4-year period,
is insanity.
That's ridiculous, yeah.
Most directors would go their life and not put one of them out.
Oh Brother Where Art Thou was one of Kevin's fellow movie burners' first DVDs, and he wore that film out, but because of the soundtrack, a fantastic soundtrack. And it was probably the film
iconic imagery as well, Stephen.
Yeah, I think it was the film that made me like George Clooney again. After the Batman fiasco, I watched that. I went, yeah, he's a good guy again. He was
always a good guy, wasn't he? He's always been a great actor.
Yep.
I mean, you work with talent like this, or directors like this, it's hard to forget that he has. It's easy to forget, I should say, that he has worked with esteemed people like this. When you think of that guy, you do think of some of the crap he's worked in, and he has worked in some crap, as most actors have.
Yeah.
Stephen, getting up though, man, you've got some other ones. The Lady Killers, you were speaking about that.
Yep.
You actually thought it was Leonardo DiCaprio.
I was convinced
and it did look like him. It looked like
Leonardo
Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon's love child. I actually can't recall his name. But yeah, he does. He kind of looks like him. He's got that sort of goatee. He looks like Kevin as well. Kevin looks like Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's funny.
Lucky bastard. I wish I had his
hairline. Yeah.
And then No Country for Old Men, Stephen, an incredible movie that we have both watched a lot. Josh Brolin, Javier Bardem, an amazing revenge movie. That sort of cattle.
I had that in DVD.
Gun.
Yeah.
Just the sound it made. A fucking haunting antagonist in Javier Bardem with that ridiculous hairdo. An incredible movie put out by these 2 guys. And then you go through True Grit, another one I've watched, obviously with Matt Damon and Jeff Bridges, about to say Kurt Russell again there, even though we were speaking about it. Inside Llewellyn Davis. Hail Caesar I've not yet watched. Apparently that was kind of below, but it was average for their back catalogue. But I think it was looking into studio work and stuff like that, and movies being produced. I can't recall. I think it was getting back to like the fucking Yul Brynner, Charlton Heston days of Hollywood, and kind of romanticising it. I've not yet seen The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I know you speak highly about it, Stephen. I've seen the first sort of story.
I did the review of The Ballad of Buster Scruggs for the blog a couple of years ago. It turns out that may be their last movie together.
Yeah. Which is crazy, and they work for Netflix, which is a bit of a showing up.
It's a great film, John. I need to go back and watch that.
I need to watch it, Stephen.
Movie.
Also, I've seen the double-barrel name guy. He was in the Dark Waters. Oh no, he was in the
He was in
the one with Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan. Jamie Foxx. Yeah,
it was a great film.
I'm fucking forgetting the name of it. True Justice or something like that. Justice. True Mercy.
True Mercy. Yeah, something like that.
It was that double-barrel name guy, Stephen. The sort of little short guy. He was wearing the white suit. I've seen the first sort of story in that movie.
He's in the Oh Brother Where Art Thou as well.
Yeah. So I'll go down and we'll click on his name.
John, you need to
we'll click on his name. It's going to annoy me trying to click on it, Steve, because I'm doing Inception here. He's got a double-barrel name.
Yeah, he's
where is he?
He's also a good singer. There he is.
There he is, Tim Blake Nelson.
Yeah.
Stephen, look at that fucking cast, incidentally, man. Is that not unbelievable? John Goodman, Tim Blake Nelson, John Turturro, George Clooney, Holly Hunter.
Yeah.
It's a fucking unbelievable cast, man. And even you see some faces in there that I'd grown up watching in the 90s. I've seen these guys.
Yeah.
And they've sadly disappeared off the face of the earth, probably because they've died in some cases. And Charles Dunning's one of them. Charles Dunning's one of Steve's got one of those names, his faces, you look at him.
Yeah.
This guy framed my childhood. I mean, I'm guaranteeing you, if I go through his filmography, there's movies that came out. Look, we'll do this off show because it'll take fucking forever. But is that fun with Dick Jane? I seen that.
I think it was a Good Dick.
Good Dick. Right, we'll go back to this, man, because we'll be here doing this all day, going down IMDb's.
Let's just have a show where we web.
We just web stuff. I'm guaranteeing you, I've recognised his face. Point being, they've had an incredible career together. They've put out a body of work that most directors on their lonesome couldn't wish to do. So if he's decided to step away and have a blissful little retirement, wherever the fuck he stays, Hollywood I presume, then look, hats off to him, he's earned it. And he can go off into the sunset. Or perhaps just, a classic movie.
Quentin.
Quentin, go off and they've earned a retirement. These guys have gave us...
We don't want them to stop.
Timeless work.
You can't blame them for not, John.
Yeah, but Stephen, you like I've said this before, I watch the likes of the actors around the round table, directors around the round table, Variety I think do it, get into Hollywood, the award season, and these guys show you the dirty side of the business, the unglamorous side. You think of acting and directing, you think, oh, it's great. They go to these showbiz events, the red carpet, they wear their fucking incredible suits, but it ain't. They actually have to get up at stupid o'clock, they work 15-hour shifts to make these movies. It's gritty, it's dark, they're going to these on-shoot locations. It's not an easy life, man.
No.
They earn their fucking money.
I think as well, John, that there must be a vibe, you know, in certain films and certain scenes where actors are working off each other, but there's a tense. You saw it in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, sure.
Yeah.
You know, where you can sense that egos are in the room, and you know, you can maybe sense that when someone fluffs a line, the other one's loving it. That kind of thing. John, I felt
pressure
that
for
in
the
film,
studios
actually.
as well, man.
Yeah, the pressure. Yeah.
To get success, that's probably why they went to Netflix.
Yeah.
And then he's doing a classic Macbeth movie, Joe Coen. So
yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, a classic Shakespearean movie. So what if that's his last movie and it's him done as well? I hope not, because as he did say, that Collaborator, hundreds of scripts in the bag he want to see getting put into existence. But what if that's his last movie? It's going out with a Shakespearean movie.
Yeah.
Can't really go
talking
out
about last movies, John, and last appearances. We're going to move on now and talk about Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow.
Oh, I thought it was this one. What if?
That's the last one.
Is that
sorry.
The last one? I screwed
yeah,
it.
Sorry.
That's alright, Stephen.
No Natasha Romanoff cameos planned in future MCU movies or shows. Kind of thought that anyway, but this is coming in from Screen Rant. Scarlett Johansson filed her Black Widow Disney lawsuit. You covered this, John,
Steve,
last
we'll
week.
speak about that because you've not actually spoke about this.
Yeah, because there are no more planned cameos for Natasha Romanoff in the MCU.
I don't think that's primarily what it is. Graham Gutman, I think it's because she wants her fucking money.
Yeah.
But we'll get to it.
Well, I don't think it's about money, John. I think it's
principle.
It's principle, yeah. After Johansson's lawsuit, it's no surprise that there are no cameos slated for her long-time character. Still, the possibility was likely tantalising for fans and the actress herself. Johnson could likely net a huge payday if she were to return, but that bridge may have been burnt now. Johansson is known to have a close relationship with Marvel president Kevin Feige, who was reportedly angry about Black Widow's release even before the actress filed the lawsuit. This could be because he hoped for the actress to return at some point. I don't think it's just that. I think being the president of Marvel, he should have a say in these things. I know that it's nothing to do with distribution, and I know that Disney are the distributors. I get that, but I think someone in his position.
His movie, though, Stephen.
Yeah, exactly. It's his movie, John, and he would have been round the negotiating tables when Scarlett Johansson signed up to play this character as well and play the character in that film. I just think it's a shame, but I think after watching Black Widow, John, I think what else can they do with her? You know, they can't keep slotting her into prequel films and for cameos. I think she's too good for that. You know, and I don't think she would want to, regardless of the lawsuit. I don't think we were going to see her anyway.
You'd like to think, though, Steve, that will not destroy her relationship with the actual studio going forward, that she could work, that they're a little bit more grown up.
Yeah, I don't think it will. I don't think it's like a Crispin Glover, Bob Gale thing or anything like that, you know, where it's personal in that sense.
20 years later and still talking about it.
Yeah.
And rightly so, because he stole the man's likeness without his permission. You fuckers.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad you did, because we needed some sort of presence from Josh McFly in that movie. It was necessary.
It was,
But Stephen, look, I don't know what your thoughts are on this whole lawsuit stuff. I also spoke about it last night. I think it's despicable from Disney that they're holding back funds that they signed an agreement with the actor to give her. If it had got its box office release in a normal situation in theatres, this movie would have made circa 8 to $1 billion, 800 million to probably over $1 billion. She'd have made a huge.
Her deal was done before the pandemic, John.
Yeah, because they say in this statement.
So they need to stick with that.
Exactly.
Because I'm pretty sure if the actor, went against their contract, they would be pursuing her. They'd sack her. They would sue her or whatever, you know.
She walked off set mid-shoot and they lost the equivalent of $200 million, $150 million. They would go after her.
It should be done.
Yeah. They'd open up a lawsuit and she'd lose. So if the shoes are the rules are reversed, that she's absolutely correct to go after them, because she's made $20 million basic off the movie as she deserves to. She's waited 10 years for it. It's her fucking movie.
Yeah.
She would have made probably, I don't know, maybe another $15-20 million from box office straight off that, because it's $1 billion earned at the box office.
Yep.
They put it out in the streaming service, knowing what they're doing. They're trying to loophole out of actually paying her the money. She's one of the best actors in the game. She's brought them a huge financial gain over the years, because there's certain people out there, Stephen, demographics out there that will go to these movies just to see an ass shot from Scarlett Johansson. These fucking weirdos, they're out there.
John, that film is littered with them.
Yeah, they exist, Stephen.
Yeah.
So she's brought in a lot of money, and I don't know the actual saying. It's true, Stephen. It is. Look, they're out there. We know about it because we put the likes of Hayley Steinfeld on a thumbnail. Bizarrely, the girl that played X-23.
Yeah, it was a strange one.
On the thumbnail, she's like 15. And
John,
you get fucking stupid views.
The
It's crazy.
internet is a strange place with strange people lurking about.
But Stephen, the point is, man, they're even pissing off Kevin Feige. And this is the guy, the goose that lays the golden eggs, if you like. That's a fucking terrible analogy. I butchered it because I always do. But when you start pissing that guy off, you're getting into dangerous waters.
Yeah.
Because he's the guy that's bringing you in crazy money year in, year out. Now, I actually read an article that suggested that streaming is giving them more front-loaded money. It's increasing their share price more than actual movie releases. That may be the case because we're in a pandemic, but when we come out the pandemic and you've got 3 Marvel movies coming out a year, each guaranteeing you at least $800 million at the box office, $700 million profits, that's going to increase your share price more than a fucking streaming service release. So they can't be pushing off Kevin Feige. This guy's bringing in guaranteed money. He's done it for 10 years.
Yep.
I think it's disgraceful.
Billions.
Absolutely disgraceful the way they're treating the talent, and I think it'll put off people working with them in the future. Up and coming talent who think they're going to screw me out of my money. They'll put my movie on the streaming service and they'll get out the contract. It's Bob Chapek, Stephen. The guy's a fucking dick. Plain and simple. Bob Geldof was the man. Not Geldof, I keep saying Bob Geldof. Bob Iger
Tell
was
me
the man.
why.
Bob Geldof was the man as well. What was it, Rat Race? Is that the other one?
Oh,
I've always got Bob Geldof in my mind.
Yeah.
Trampy little Irishman. It's Irish, isn't he? Or is he English?
He's Irish, yeah.
Irish, trampy little Irishman. He's like Ireland's equivalent to Billy Connolly. You can put him in anything.
But he's not funny.
You can put, exactly.
He can't sing.
You can put him in a Louis Vuitton suit and he's still look like a tramp.
Yeah,
and that was a famous
fucking money. Yeah, that's what he's famous for.
Bob Iger, Stephen.
Yeah,
he was the man. Disney don't know what they've lost with that guy. Well, I think they do now that they've got Chapek in there. Strange little bald guy. I think he's bald.
I've done a thumbnail for him. Is
he bald? Yeah, he's bald. He's a fucking angry little guy. Getting after Scarlett. Scarjo's going to whip your arse in that lawsuit, and you deserve it, Chapek.
What did you just call her?
Scarjo.
Oh, is that the name?
Yeah,
right, okay, I didn't know that.
Scarjo, yeah.
Wow.
Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson. I've been saying her name wrong for years.
I was saying it all throughout that article there wrong then. I thought it was Johansson.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson apparently.
Johansson.
She's not Scandinavian, Stephen. That's the way they pronounce her names.
Yeah.
She's American.
Yeah.
And they get
a very good
wrong.
actor, John. She's a very good actor, and she's the wrong one they've effed with this time.
Yes, exactly. And look, she's opened up a can of worms, Stephen, for other actors.
Oh, Emma Stone. Emma Stone's pursuing it now as well. So I know that Dwayne Johnson isn't.
Because he doesn't have to, he's fucking loaded.
But the principal,
second highest paid or highest paid actor in Hollywood.
I still think he should.
He should, Stephen, because it protects people who are not as well off as him.
Yep.
He's opening up a protection against these studios for other talent who are getting screwed out of money, because it's not just Scarlett Johansson, it'll be other talent who will get a cut of the box office share, who will be losing money now. And this company have got enough fucking money. They bought over Fox. They're rich. Even during a pandemic, they're rich. They're protected to an extent, and they're trying to screw over individual talent. It's disgraceful.
It's a disgrace. But anyway, John, we're going to move on to our final topic.
Copyright strike with videos with Disney.
No, please,
I take that back immediately.
Please do not, because you're actually good that way.
Yeah, I'm good that way. They really are.
But we're going to stay on Marvel, John, and it's Marvel's What If.
What if?
Episodes could lead to live action spin-offs. What if executive producer Brad Winderbaum says that the show's stories could become live action eventually?
Winderbaum, whoa!
Open even more possibilities.
What a name.
Yeah.
He's got to be a German.
He's got Green Rant, this is coming in from. And I'll just read a little bit about it, John.
The Sprechen, what is it? The Sprechen Deutsch. Sprech de Deutsch. Sprech de Deutsch.
Executive producer Brad Winderbaum tells Inverse that what if stories could even make their way to live action one day. First, Winderbaum expressed hopes of seeing more chapters of the various stories being told in the series. He then points to the fact that many of the stories in What If comics have already made their way to the main continuity of the MCU, hinting that could happen with the animated show too. He said, "We wanted each story to be able to be open and shut in that half-hour time frame, but it's hard not to imagine more chapters
only half an hour. That's a shame.
With some of these characters. I hope that one day we do get to see more adventures in some of these alternative timelines. All you have to do to prove that that is look back at how many stories from What If comics ended up in the main continuity of the comic universe. My prediction is a similar thing could happen on the cinematic side as well. John, just before you give your point in your view here, I don't want to see this, and the reason I don't want to see this is because we're about to step into a multiverse, which is going to be mind-boggling as it is. I don't want to see What If stories played live action with the current actors playing the characters. I don't want to see Chris Hemsworth portraying Thor in a What If where he dies or something like that. I know he wouldn't, but just giving us another What If sort of variation.
Stephen has died. We've seen that firsthand in Loki. One of the Loki variants killed.
John, what I don't like is that as time goes on and we look back on the sort of MCU, I don't want to have that Mandela effect where I'm thinking, did that happen? Was that a What If, or was that just something I dreamed? I don't want to have that. I'm a simple person.
Dream in time gone by.
I have a simple mind, but I don't want to say it, John. I like the way that they formatted this. There's a reason that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was animated as well at that point, because we were getting Tom Holland version of the character, and it's good to separate that. And I like animated, I've watched a stack load of DC stuff. Check our blog. A guy wants me to prove it. Go to that.
Guy wants me to prove it. Pre-still's a shithole, mate. Pre-still's a shithole. No, but it wasn't Pre-still, was it? What was it?
It was Pre-still, yeah.
Pre-still, what's the other one he went to?
Cessnock.
That's the West End. That's the West End, it's the South Side.
But yeah, I mean, I have nothing against animated stuff. I just think that they have their place, and that place for What If stories is in animation.
Stephen, you're absolutely right. It'd be a bad idea creating animated spin-offs into doing an animated show like this and then creating spin-offs in live action. Unless you're recasting the character, you don't want that confusion. As you did say, I'll go to myself and give you a brief break here, Stephen. Look at that, my legs just shaking the actual chair. I'm like a little junkie here. Give me my methadone. Parkhead. You can take the guy out of Parkhead, but you can't take Parkhead out of the guy, man. And it's littered with junkies. Amazing I got to where I got to. Coming from it. I just want to be a wee boy again. Where have you left the chicken in the oven? That's that one, isn't it, Steve, man? Brilliant. Brian Lemond, what a fucking guy. Honestly, what a brain. Incredible. People like to slag him off and see he's got early on, say, he fuck. Just get concentration issues, as all the greats have. But Stephen, where was I going with this? It'd be a bad idea if you set up live action spin-offs, get into a multiverse. You'd have too much confusion. It'd be a web of confusion. Dazed and Confused, as Led Zeppelin once famously sang. Only confused for too long, it's not true. Only you. What am I doing here? Anyway, it would be terrible, Stephen. I don't know the words of Dazed Confused from Led Zeppelin. That's why I'm trying to sing nonsense. It'd be terrible. You bring in Peggy Carter, she's playing Captain America in an alternate universe. And there she's there, that's why I've just been drawn to her. And then you'd be thinking, where the fuck does she land in this actual main timeline? She doesn't. It's a What If. It won't work, Stephen. And that actual comparison used there with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, that is a perfect example of why you use that animated sort of technique for these kind of stories, these different stories, zany, that they've got no place in the actual main timeline. It differentiates it from what has gone by in the cinematic universe and what is yet to come, and even differentiates it, Stephen, from the TV stuff.
The sacred timeline.
The sacred timeline, exactly. The sacred timeline. How can we get that out of our minds now? So it wouldn't work for me. It's better off in animated. That's why Filoni did his stuff in Rebels and Clone Wars in animated style. It was to create a disconnect, but then if you've got a great imagination, you can put yourself into these situations and connect the dots into how that would work in the actual main cinematic universe if you really were inclined to do it. For me, I don't want it. I hope it doesn't happen. There's enough content coming out. That really would create superhero fatigue if we've got TV shows following characters, the main timeline going on, the sacred timeline with these movies, non-sacred timeline branch stuff with the multiverse, and then you're creating What If live action stuff.
John, do you remember the simpler times 5 years ago when people were getting just confused with episode 7, The Force Awakens, and Rogue One, the timeline and that was enough.
These people are crazy, man. Where the fuck do you get these people from? Darth Vader's in that one. He's not in the last one. Look, the Stormtrooper actual outfits are different as well. Look, Kylo Ren's got a fucking, what do you call that? Guard thing.
Yeah.
He's got a guard. That ain't in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
You fuckwits. What is wrong with you people? Whoa, what have I did here? Let's go to that scene. That scene, yes, that's right. That scene, John, you're using the right terminology. Don't doubt yourself. That's going to round the show up, guys. On that note, we've got 4 topics. So let's do a little bet and see if I can remember the topics we touched upon on the show tonight. Let's see if we can do it. Don't breathe too.
Yep.
Don't breathe too. There was a Red Band trailer dropped. Did you watch it? We reacted to it. What's your thoughts on it? Are you anticipating this Red Band release? Ethan Coen could potentially be retiring from directing and maybe leaving it all to his unfortunate brother Joe. What's your thoughts on that? Are we losing a big talent? Should he come back? Are we selfish bastards to want to see more great content coming from this guy? ScarJo herself is potentially not going to be coming back in any Marvel related content because she's suing Disney and she's fucking dead. Her character's dead. They passed it over to Yelena. And finally, what if we could see some of these stories getting turned into live action in the Disney Plus sphere, in a movie sphere? Is that something you'd want to see? Would it muddy the waters too much? Comment down below if you've got anything to say about all of those things. Comment down below about that impressive feat of me actually remembering the 4 fucking topics we touched upon straight after the show. I can remember them vividly after the show, but when I'm in front of the camera, I always seem to lose my bearings. I think these cameras cause early onset for a small time.
Yeah.
It's the lights, they daze and confuse you, Steve, and I feel like I'm fucking Neil Armstrong on the moon. And I'm so glad I didn't say Stuart Armstrong there. You can comment down below. His hair is fine, better than Neil's. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel and hit the follow button over on Twitch if you want to see more content like this in the future, and you will get it. But until then, me and Stephen are done. I'll be back tomorrow. Stephen's having a break. Bye bye. His hair is fine. He scores belters all the time. No, he doesn't. That's why we sing this song for Stuart Armstrong. Bye guys.